Hello and welcome to Just One More Watch. Erebus t-shirt on today for another Erebus launch video. And not only is it arguably our nicest watch to date, it is also arguably the nicest watch you can buy at its price point. It's the brand new 40mm Ascent GMT featuring a Japanese high-beat true GMT movement, the Miyota 9075. Pre-orders on these open today at the erebuswatches.com website. Of course, I will leave a link to that website in the description of the video. 8 different colour versions are available, and because it's an Erebus, you only pay for half of the watch when you pre-order it and half of the watch a couple of weeks before we deliver it. We anticipate delivering these no later than April next year. We have a 100% on-time delivery record so far, meaning we're not in the habit of making promises that we do not fulfill. But Jody, how much does it cost? Don't worry, I will be talking about price. I love talking about money, you all know that. We have tried a couple of different things with pricing this year and we have not always got it right. I'm the first to admit that, and it's still a bit of a work in progress for many small brands like ourselves. The US de minimis has ended, tariffs have been imposed in the United States, and courier companies around the world are struggling to cope with all of that. So here is what we have decided to do for the Ascent GMT. We have split the world into 4 different markets, 4 different zones with 4 slightly different pricing structures. For the USA, the Ascent GMT will cost you $629. That price includes all taxes and shipping. So tariffs, state taxes, any handling charges and express shipping all included, no more to pay. Aussies, you have always had your own price including shipping. This one is no different. For the Ascent GMT, the Aussie price is $769. United Kingdom, your price is £369 plus shipping. Shipping comes in at just under 30 quid. This price does not include VAT. DHL will bill you for VAT when the watch arrives in Blighty. Rest of the world, and apologies for lumping Canada, Iceland, Germany and Singapore all together. Your price is $499 US plus $35 shipping, plus whatever local taxes your country has. Again, like the Brits, your local duties will be handled by DHL when the watch arrives in your respective countries. I hope that clarifies things for everyone. We feel these watches are still fantastic value for money when compared to the equivalently spec watch from any other micro brand. But regardless of where you are in the world, as I said, we only charge 50% of the price of the watch on order, and we bill you the second 50% a couple of weeks before they ship. We think this is the fairest way to do it for everyone. Okay, so today I'm going to run you through dimensions and specifications. I'm going to show you all 8 different color versions, both indoors and outdoors. There'll be plenty of wrist shots, some moans and niggles, of course, because you know I can't help myself, and some insight into the thought process and some of the details that make this watch different from the rest of the Ascent 3-hand range, and why Stephen and I chose to implement those changes. Now, the 39mm Ascent launched in April last year, and it's been a really important watch for us. It is our most popular watch, hence why we decided to branch out into multiple different sizes earlier this year. And we found the aesthetic of the Ascent lends itself perfectly to the addition of a 4th GMT hand. Now, being a Miyota powered watch in the first place, the 9075 was therefore the perfect choice for this one. We could have gone in a more dressy direction with GMT markings on the dial, or a more sporty direction with GMT markings on a fixed bezel. As you can see, we had a good look at both, but we decided to go sports. We decided to go Rolex Explorer 2 / Grand Seiko SBGN / Christopher Ward C63 direction. But of course, for a fraction of the price of any of those other watches. We felt that would give the GMT complication more legibility and more usability, and it would give the Ascent GMT a character of its own, rather than just looking like a regular Ascent with a 4th hand on it. So now you know. We decided though that the GMT needed its own case size, so we settled on a subtle but crucial increase of 1mm. You all know how much difference a millimetre can make in the watch game. So the GMT has a 40mm case, giving it just a little bit more wrist presence than its 39mm cousin and allowing for the beautiful fixed brushed bezel with GMT markings. It also allowed us to leave the proportions of the dial, the handset and the indices unchanged from the three-hander because we felt they were pretty much perfect as they were. Stephen and I decided that because we had gone in a slightly sportier direction, that should be reflected in the choice of bracelet. So there is no choice with this one, it only comes on a 3-link O style. But because this is the only size, we're only going to make one size of the Ascent GMT, we wanted it to be as accessible as possible. So we used negative/female end links to help it contour to the wrist, and we found a clasp that still allowed 1cm of on-the-fly tool-free adjustment, but was even more compact than the one fitted to the Ascent 39. So dimensions then, I've already given you a couple of these, let's do the lot. These are indeed 40mm in diameter, 12.4mm thick, but with a super compact lug-to-lug of only 46mm. The bracelet tapers down from 20mm between the lugs to 16 and back up to 18 at the clasp. By the way, weight as sized for my 7-inch wrist is 138 grams. Water resistance is unchanged, it's the same across the Ascent range, 100 meters including a screw down crown. Crystal is double dome sapphire with heaps of anti-reflective undercoating, and the movement is the lovely true GMT Miyota, the 9075. What does that mean then when I call it a true GMT? Well, it's the more complex of the two GMT movements to manufacture, the other being a collar GMT, and therefore it's the more expensive of the two GMT movements to manufacture. What makes this traveller style the more desirable of the two is the fact that when you are actually travelling, you don't need to hack the movement when you change time zones. When you set the 9075, you first adjust the GMT hand and the minute hand to the desired position before then going back to adjust the hour hand and the date complication. As I said, once the watch is set, you can then very simply adjust the other hand and date as appropriate if you are travelling, hence the moniker. Now there is a downside to this type of movement, I will tell you all about that, don't worry, in the Moans and Niggle section. The standard of finishing on the Ascent GMT is exceptional, and the new fixed brush bezel really enhances the overall look of the thing. The side profile of the case is beautifully sculpted, which is one of the reasons why the Ascent range wears so comfortably. High polish upper and lower surfaces, but there's a very slender brush line in between them, breaking them up nicely. Look at the finishing on the bezel. Brushed, polished, then brushed again with the upper surface matching the upper surface of the lugs and the bracelet. The Erebus branded crown offers plenty of grip, but it's unobtrusive on wrist, just how it should be. We don't need to spend too long on the bracelet, it's arguably not the most interesting element of the watch, and yet we feel that with the switch to female end links and the smaller clasp, it is now optimized. It is now the best possible bracelet that we could have chosen for this style of watch, hence why we chose it. Dial and hands though, we're definitely going to spend a bit longer here. No changes were made from the three-hander apart from the addition of that fourth hand because, as discussed, we felt we got the three-hander so right that any changes would just have detracted from the looks overall. The proportions are perfect, the legibility is great, and the whole thing just looks and feels high quality. It looks and feels luxurious, but with a price tag that is anything like that of a luxury watch. The handset is a real standout on the Ascent. We pay a lot of money for these hands and we feel they are worth every cent. And because this is one of my watches, those hands and those indices are absolutely pumped full of top grade Swiss Super Luminova BGW9, including on the GMT hand and on the counterbalance of the seconds hand, so you can still tell if your watch is running after dark. Alright then, colours. We decided to go quite simple with the Ascent GMT. They're all single colour enamel dials, no minerals, no patterns. We felt that there was enough going on already with the addition of the fourth hand and the fixed bezel with all of those markings. We didn't want those features to be overawed or overshadowed by a dial design that was too intense. Having said that though, we have gone for some really nice, bright, vibrant colours, so if you do want something with a bit more wrist presence, you will definitely be able to find it. Of course, you will find the three classic dial colours, those being black with orange GMT hand and orange GMT dial text, blue with orange GMT hand and orange GMT dial text, and white also with orange GMT hand and orange GMT dial text. If you want a fairly sensible, discreet choice for everyday duties, well, you've now got three choices there, haven't you? What about though if you want something a little less sensible? Stephen and I are both obsessed with this black and gold version. We think this colour combination makes the Ascent GMT look even more expensive, even more luxurious than any of the other colour combos. The gold hands and indices, the logo, the date frame being perfectly offset by that little touch of green on the GMT hand and the dial text. This one is very much the poster boy of the range, hence why you may see it pop up on your social media feeds over the next few weeks in a variety of different little videos. So that's the first four then, and we think these kind of sit comfortably in a bit of a grouping together. But we also have four more Ascent GMTs in four far more vibrant colour combinations, if that's what you're after, including orange enamel with blue GMT hand and GMT text and blue 5-minute markers on the chapter ring. There's a fire engine red with yellow accents. There's a deep purple, also with yellow accents. And another one of my favourites, a lovely aqua blue with just a touch of pink on it. Not too much, but just enough to add an extra little bit of something. I'm sure you've noticed colour match date wheels, properly colour match date wheels on all of these watches in frames. There's an applied two-piece Erebus logo and Erebus brand text, which is either in white or black depending on whether the dial was lighter or darker. I don't think there's a bad colour combination here. We think all of these work really well together, or else we just wouldn't be launching them. What else to tell you? Well, because the lugs are 20 mils, all of our existing strap packs will work with these watches. So black and brown leather strap packs and black, blue and brown sport strap packs. All three straps for $45 with Erebus branded hardware for the leather packs. All three straps for only $35 US with Erebus branded hardware for the sport strap packs. Plus, if you want to go all in, we sell Erebus branded t-shirts like the one I'm wearing today in a variety of colours and sizes, and Erebus branded caps in both flatty style and baseball style. I'm not wearing either of those though, because with a head this big, I just don't look good in hats. And I guess my big head segues neatly into the moans and niggles section. I mentioned earlier on that there was a negative to the 9075 movement, the fact that it is a true GMT rather than a collar GMT. That being, the movement does not have a quick set date function. You get the jump hour, but not the quick set date. So if you are wearing this watch as a rotation piece rather than a daily, and you want the date to reflect the date, there is a bit more work involved. You're going to have to wind the watch and spend a bit of time adjusting the date complication. My only other complaint is that it's another Ascent. We have now launched this model in 4 different sizes and with a high accuracy quartz movement and now with a GMT movement. We've been going for almost 2 years now and we've only launched 3 different kind of nameplates, if you will, the Origin, the Ascent and the Titan. That's not quite what we had envisaged. We've been working on a whole bunch of stuff. If none of those 3 watches have tickled your fancy so far, don't worry. We've got plenty of new models, new names, if you will, coming in 2026. We've been working on a field watch for almost 2 years. We've got a chronograph coming. There's an integrated bracelet watch and a dress watch, 2 ways, all at various different stages of development. The Erebus lineup will not be quite as Ascent heavy this time next year, I promise you. But that is not to apologise for this watch in any way or to detract from just how good we feel it is. Please feel free to look around, do your research of course. If you can get a better looking, better made, better specified micro brand GMT for less money than this one, by all means, go ahead and buy it instead of this one. Stephen and I started this company with the aim of providing the best possible watches at the best possible prices, and the Ascent GMT is the perfect example of that. So there you have it. What are you waiting for? Click the link in the description and order one for yourself today. If you prefer 3-handers to 4-handers though, why not check out another couple of watches from the Ascent range here. Thanks for watching this one. I'll see you over there.